July 21st, 1999. It was 1999. Most teenagers were worrying about school, friends, and video games. A 15-year-old boy in Florida was doing something almost impossible. He was breaking into some of the most protected computer systems in America. His target wasn't a random website. It wasn't a video game company. It was NASA. But the real question isn't just how did a teenager hack NASA. The real question is, why did he do it? His name was Jonathan James. Jonathan James was born in 1983 in South Florida, while others used computers to play games. Jonathan wanted to understand what was happening underneath. How did programs communicate? How could information travel from one machine to another? How did networks connect? He taught himself programming and began exploring the world of cybersecurity. But this was a very different internet. The year was the late 1990s.
Like a superhighway. It is called Internet. Internet began back in 1969. It was a tool of the Pentagon.
The internet was growing rapidly, but security was still in its early stages.
Millions of Americans own a personal computer. If you're one of them, you can now glimpse the future with nothing more than a modem, a phone line, and a few dollars a month.
Every business, no matter how large, no matter how small, will be on the internet.
But not everyone understood how vulnerable those systems could be. For Jonathan, hacking started with curiosity. He wasn't searching for money. He wasn't trying to become famous. He wanted to answer one simple question. Could I get inside? They see systems like puzzles. They want to understand how things work. They want to prove they have the ability. But there is a difference between discovering a weakness and exploiting it without permission. And Jonathan was about to cross that line. In 1999, Jonathan James gained unauthorized access to NASA computers. According to investigators, he downloaded software connected to the International Space Station. The software controlled important environmental systems, including things like temperature, humidity, and physical conditions needed for astronaut safety. NASA discovered the breach and reportedly shut down some systems. While investigating, the damage wasn't about stolen money. It was about something much more concerning. A teenager had proven that even major government systems could be vulnerable. But NASA wasn't the only system connected to Jonathan James. Investigators also linked him to a breach involving the Defense Threat Reduction Agency, a U.S. government organization responsible for reducing threats involving weapons and national security. This time, the situation became much more serious. Authorities said he accessed sensitive information, including usernames, passwords, and internal messages. He also installed a backdoor, a hidden method that could allow someone to return to the system later. What started as curiosity had now become a federal investigation. Authorities eventually traced the attacks back to Jonathan. In 2000, at only 16 years old, he became the first juvenile in the United States to receive a sentence for a cybercrime. Because he was a minor, his punishment was different from an adult criminal case. He received probation. He was restricted from using computers, and his future suddenly became connected to a crime he committed as a teenager. The most interesting part of Jonathan James' story isn't what he hacked, it's why. He wasn't a criminal mastermind trying to steal millions. He wasn't trying to destroy NASA. The motivation appeared to be something much simpler. Curiosity, challenge, the desire to prove himself. But talent without responsibility can become dangerous. The same ability that could have created a career in cybersecurity became the reason the world saw him as a criminal. He became interested in using his computer skills legally. But years later, his name appeared again in connection with another major investigation involving TJX companies. Jonathan denied involvement. In 2008, at the age of 24, Jonathan James died by suicide. Jonathan James' story is not simply about a teenager who hacked NASA. It's about a young person with extraordinary talent who discovered a world most people couldn't see. But it is also about the thin line between curiosity and crime. Because sometimes the same skill that can open doors can also close them forever. Jonathan James didn't become famous because he broke into NASA. He became famous because he showed the world what one teenager with a computer could do.